Stefon Diggs has been nothing but a cancer since he's gone there. He's a sensational player. I'm not a big fan of his. I've never liked him in Minnesota. I didn't like him in college. I know the talent that he is. Coming out of college, he was a great route runner. He finally has a quarterback that could get him a ball, and he's been complaining about it since then. His numbers have gone up 400 yards since he's gone to Josh Allen. He's become an every year Pro Bowl player. What does that tell you about Josh Allen? He's a quality quarterback. It don't matter if he goes to the Cowboys. Do you think Stefon Diggs is going to be happy over there with Dak Prescott after all the fans have been throwing him under the bus? If he has Josh Allen, who would you rather right now as your star quarterback? Josh Allen or Dak Prescott? Stefon Diggs. This man needs to understand who he is. He is not the quarterback of this team. He's not the franchise player. He's expendable. They could do whatever they want with him. They could trade him. They could drop him and take the cap hit. They're not going to do that. But I'm going to tell you this right now. It's not going to work. If I was the GM of this team, I don't want to hear that Diggs is the number one wide receiver. I don't care. I trade him. I get a second-round pick for him. Rebuild. You could still win. You could still put up numbers. You have a great quarterback. Go bring in a free agent. Bring in Calvin Ridley. He's not going to speak as much. He wasn't very loud in Atlanta. He just likes to bet. This kid has been a problem since you brought him here. It was a great trade. Or was it? Because Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in football. What pick was he traded for? Justin Jefferson. If you were to ask me, who do I want on my team? Stefon Diggs or Justin Jefferson, I'm going to take the quieter Justin Jefferson. He likes to speak, but he never throws his quarterback under the bus. As a matter of fact, he has preached to the Minnesota Vikings that he wants Kirk Cousins back. Tells you a lot about his character as a player and as a star in this league.
And this, I think, is the first time, too, that from a football perspective, it might actually make more sense to trade Stefon Diggs because of how well the offense as a team still played in the second half of the season amidst him not having the greatest numbers. He averaged 41 yards a game, did not have a touchdown in that span, and the Bills' offense still was just fine when they fired Ken Dorsey and they brought in Joe Brady. That's how much of an impact he had on Kincaid, James Cook, Khalil Shakir, all these other players that worked for the Buffalo Bills and why they made the playoffs and to win the division. From a football perspective, Stefon Diggs you could probably get a second-round pick for because there's other teams that are going to be looking for that guy who's still going to be a good wide receiver. Yes, he's older now. He's definitely not going to be the same. And you're right. They're not going to get a first-round pick because of the year he had this year, he was down. But the Bills also are going to go through a salary cap hell this year, too, because Josh Allen's cap hit this year is close to $50 million. They're going to lose a couple defensive players. So they're going to have to rebuild in other areas and trust Josh Allen and these offensive coordinator to make everyone else work.
Bring Gabe Davis back. That's what they need to do. Because Gabe Davis is a guy you can build around. If you decide you don't want to bring Stefon Diggs back and maybe draft a pretty good wide receiver in the second round, Buffalo in the last couple of years has not drafted very well. They added some defensive help. Russo they brought in, played well, but he can't stay healthy. Oliver's a good player. And Von Miller, who's overpaid, he hurts their cap badly. You have Von Miller at least next year where it's going to screw up your cap hit if you decide to drop him.
Von Miller didn't have a sack in the regular season, got hurt a bunch, and had that whole domestic
He's
violence
a different
issue.
player now that he tore his ACL.
Yeah, and the rest of the defensive line actually played really well this year for the Bills, and yet Von Miller's going to waste $20 million.
He's a third down guy now, and you're paying him $20 million. Milano's a very important piece to that defense. He stops the run. He's one of the best run stoppers in the league. He's an all-pro player. Long Island native. Comac native. He has been sensational for the Buffalo Bills. So hopefully he comes back and he's 100% healthy. As far as this concern of Diggs, I don't think you should let this be a concern anymore. Trade him. He's getting up there in age. How many years does he have left? Maybe 2? As a top wide receiver? Look at Jones. Julio Jones, one of the greatest wide receivers we've seen since Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson was a first ballot Hall of Fame. So was Julio Jones. First ballot, great Samaritan, great for the NFL, didn't cause any trouble. Antonio Brown, he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he wasn't so stupid. But Julio Jones, he came back because he wanted to win a Super Bowl with the Eagles. But he was done at 31 years old. Stefon Diggs, he will be 31 years old. He's getting up there in age. I wouldn't keep him. I would trade him and get a second-round draft pick for him. Move on from this rubbish, this craziness that's affected the team, infected both sides of the ball.